Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night with Kettle Kitchen. We're glad you guys are here. We have a great group of people tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. We're going to bring up our old foes. Well, not foes. They're our friends.
Foes?
Not foes,
Really?
sorry. And I didn't mean that isn't fake either, so. Well, you are an old fogey, but that's... Yes, I did. Yes. And we have another one of our friends.
Hi, Kris.
Hey, Kris.
Just so everybody knows, real quick, Tiffany and Ginger are attempting to come up. They are having technical difficulties. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We do have, but on... Ooh, hold on a second.
Holding.
I'm going to do this and then I'll deal with this. This is Ginger on the other side. We do have some guests tonight that have never been on the channel and very much wanted to be part of this discussion. I do have a couple other people that are in the same way, and we'll bring those in over as we go through time. This is JJ and Michelle from Big Valley Living. Welcome, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Would you please, since you are new to this channel, would you take a few minutes to let everybody know what your channel's about?
Oh, I'm going to do this, huh? We started out as we have a very large family, extended. And so we started out by preserving family recipes and sharing with all of the kids, grandchildren, and everybody else. And actually it grew to be much bigger. So now we have a bigger family and group of friends. And we're just really having a lot of fun with it. But we like to teach people how to make food from scratch, make extras so that we can have, make one meal turn into several. And then we also love to preserve and do some gardening as much as possible.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It runs roughly, depending on how we go between an hour and 2 hours, depending on where everybody's at. I had very specific things we were going to do tonight. But because Ginger and Tiffany are struggling, I'm not sure how that's going to go. So we may go with what we got. And when I can is maybe bring them back to finish up where they did. We'll go ahead and try Tiffany because she is here and moving, and Ginger is frozen. So one thing I would ask, if you guys can think about it, when somebody else is talking, if you could mute your mic, just because we have 7 of this, and this is new for us. We don't usually have this many. It looks like Brenda from Redbird Farm. Thank you very much. She's in modding right now that I can tell, and she's put Big Valley Living down in the chat box so people can go check you guys out. Tiffany, are you with us actively? I'm going to go with no.
I think that's a no, Tony.
I think that's a no. We will return you to regularly scheduled channel.
Nope, no, there she is. She's waving. She's waving.
But we can't hear you. Oh, I don't know why it's doing it. If Ginger's having a problem too, I'm assuming it's George's area is having issues, because typically Ginger can jump on her phone even if the internet isn't working, and she's not even able to do that, it looks like. So
I'm just happy it's not 9 Acre Family Farms internet by baling wire that's the problem tonight.
Or Kettle Kitchen, who's hosting it, having the problem. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Kris, let me ask you, because I know we had talked about it and you probably won't stay the full amount of time.
No, my lovely cat who loves me gets me up at 4 a.m. whether I want to get up at 4 a.m. or not. Target will not let me use the bathroom without his presence, or sleep without his presence, or drink my coffee. And he was just in here. I was actually shooing him out. So yeah, I'm running on empty. I'm at 18 hours right now up to date because, well, I have the cat who loves me. And not Larry. He doesn't love Larry. He's mama's boy. So
I was gonna say, timeout.
he actually tries to push Larry out of bed when Larry comes to bed, because I tend to, being up at 4 a.m., I tend to go to bed earlier than everybody else. And next thing you know is I've got a cat right here, and then he's like stretching to push Larry out of bed. So it's awesome. I've never had a cat love me for you guys. So yeah, there's a first for everything.
Kris
I'm a
has now
dog
become
person.
the crazy cat lady. Just so
I know,
everyone knows.
and I'm a dog person. I love dogs, and I'm like, dude, you're not a dog.
That is funny. The crazy cat lady. I love that.
I am.
Well, you're crazy for other reasons too.
Oh,
but
absolutely, absolutely, you guys.
So just real quick for everybody in chat, and anybody watching the replay, basically what this is this has been a series that we've ran on the Friday Night Live for quite a few weeks now. It says part 5, but I actually think we've done it 6 or 7 times. How to deal with what is coming. Part 5 is what part of the listing is. And the focus for tonight is on that part of it, is what can I get for $25? If I go to the store, what is it that I can get? What are the prices like? Things like that. The second part to it is meals that I can make for $10 or less for a family of 4, which I couldn't fit all that in there. So that's basically the gist of what the assignment was for people. Kris, based on that, I'm trying to get your information out before you have to go. Yours was on the meals, correct? You didn't have no grocery list.
We talked a lot about the meals. My grocery list is different than other people's grocery lists because we buy in bulk, we process and save the difference, and then we shop out of our pantry. We don't buy every week specifically for that week's grocery shop. And I've been doing this for 20 years. So when you look at my pantry versus somebody else's pantry, they look totally different because I'll go buy 100 pounds of flour or whatever, and that's my budget for that week. So what you and I had talked about, Tony, through this was, being that I do have 8 children and now sons in love and daughters in love and all sorts of others. I mean, an average meal for us is 16 people. So that whole family of 4 thing, that we throw that right out the window for my house. But when I am preparing meals, I do them for 6 people at a time, and I make them in doubles or triples or quadruple batches. Now, one thing that we do, because we raise a lot of our own meats, we make a list. That's what you do. But for $10 meals, this is the latest book that I picked up off of Amazon. And this is not me, but it's freezer-friendly dump dinners. And I'll throw a link in there, you guys. And this one is awesome because you can make those less than $10 meals when you buy in bulk with this one. So basically, it has you set up all your little Ziploc bags up, and you pick whichever recipe that you're going to do. And you divide what you've purchased for dinner that night, and then 3 other meals to throw in your freezer that you label. And I absolutely love stuff like this because you can get some pretty amazing meals out of this. So
just real quick, I just want to interject. So what I want you to go ahead and do, so what's left of the first hour, we will concentrate on the meals part of it. We'll save what can I get for $25 till after you're done and we've gone through the meals part. So if you could, hold on, give me just a second.
It's like my house. We gain control when Tony says just a second, though, you guys.
That's
I hope
right.
you know that.
We can do whatever we want.
Absolutely.
It's not often I sit at my window. My desk is here and my window's right there for my front door, and there's cop lights flashing. That kind of freaked me out.
Coming for you.
Not for me. I just was like, why are they here?
All right, you guys, that is the Amazon link to that book. I just threw it in the chat.
Okay.
So you have
Thank
it. But the easiest way to do, like I said, is I shop from my pantry versus shopping from the grocery store to make things. You know, I'm big on utilizing our local Dollar Tree for beans, for bags. Those 1 pound bags of beans are $3.50 at my grocery store. They're $1.25 for exactly the same beans. So we utilize that kind of stuff a lot. But when I go through and I figure out what I want to do for my kids, our grocery bill is less than $600 a month for all of us.
Wow.
Now, take it, we do raise a lot of our own meat. So I'm not throwing meat into that. And we don't buy anything processed. So I don't buy rice-a-ronis and pasta-ronis and things like that. We make all of that. So if we want cheesy rice with dinner, then by God, we are boiling rice and we're making a cheese sauce to go with it. And we do that because it's a lot less expensive in the long run and it's more healthy food. So you're not getting all the salts and you're not getting all those processed items. And it's not to cut down anybody who does that, because by God, if that's what the money that you have allotted is for, please use your money the way you want to. But for me, that's how we built our meals. So my meals are averaging less than $5 a meal for the 5 or 6 or 8 of us that are here, minus the meat. Okay. And that's for everything else. Now,
can I interject one more time? Sorry.
Absolutely. No, you're
I'm
fine.
seeing people ask. I just want to reaffirm our guests tonight are Dale. 9 Acre Family Farm. Lisa's, I think, passed out next to him. Then, there's Lauren. She's there. Then on the other side, we have Bloo from Bloo's Self-Reliance. Then we have, I'll save you guys for a second. Oh, this is where I get confused. Then way over in that corner, we have Kris from Krisandlarry Homestead. And then down below are our new friends.
Big Valley Living.
AJ and Michelle from Big Valley Living. That was your plug. That was your
to people to say hi.
What was that?
I'm trying to figure out how to sit in here and chat. It's different from this side.
You can't do it on your end. I think you have to go into YouTube, so you can bring your phone up on the side and chat away.
Well, hi everybody.
There you go. That's what most people do. Yes. But I did see it in there, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who was here with us. Oh, you know what I could do? Jeez, I don't know why I didn't think of this. There we go. Now everybody can see who's who.
I have a name.
Oh, cool.
Yay!
I mean, we may type that in before we start this so that can happen, you know.
Just by occasion or circumstance or happenstance or the host waking up and doing what.
Actually, you just learned me something, Tony. I didn't even know that you could take that away.
Yes, you can take that away.
Actually, you just learned me something. Even though you can take that away.
Yes, you can take that away.
Got to mute.
There, I just muted you until you get it done.
Okay.
I think they're done.
Got to mute.
There, I just muted. Oh, that's on your guys' end, JJ and Michelle. And you're muted, Dale. You can't say anything.
Nothing, Dale.
It's okay.
And okay, Dale, you can't. JJ and Michelle, you must have a tab. Oh, you got it. Okay,
there, I got it.
Okay, we're good now.
That's why he's here.
What?
It would be horrible if he wasn't here. I'd be like, ah.
I do creepiness for a living. So I
know, I got it, and that's wonderful. So Kris, please continue where you were. Tiffany's back to try again, so let's see if she's with us now.
Maybe Tiffany will join us.
Hi.
I see Tiffany. Oh no, she's frozen again.
She's freezing again.
It's got to be.
She really would be here tonight.
I can hear y'all, but it's black.
Oh,
that's okay. You just talk.
You just talk. We'll watch you. You don't have to watch us.
So some other cookbooks that I use a lot are the, was it Don't Panic, Dinner's in the Freezer, and that's another one that does the bulk
Y'all hear
cooking
me?
where we hear you.
We hear you.
Yay, Tiffany. So I always look when I'm looking for some different things is I try and cook in bulk and then reuse that meal for another meal. So like for instance, tomorrow the kids ask for chili verde. Well, I know that a big, huge pork roast that's going to cost $20 or $30 if you buy it at the store, something like that will last us 5 meals or 4 meals with lunches and other things with chili verde. So that's how I plan things out. So like tonight we did pork chops. Well, there's enough leftover pork chops for lunch tomorrow. And I bought a family size, thing of pork chops. So when you're purchasing your meals, it may look like you're purchasing a lot more when it comes to money wise, but if you're using that meat for multiple meals, then it's in the bank that way. Another thing that I always tend to do is if I'm anything with bones, I keep those bones and I make a bone broth and do a soup in the next couple days with the same meat. And those are ways just to save money to make those meals, those $10 meals work and last, especially with larger families. Now for our household, we just picked up one of those tower gardens. So we're growing all of our own lettuce indoors right now when we can't grow it outside. So, you figure out what works to how to keep those prices down.
Okay. So I'm going to move on to Bloo.
Hello.
What would you like to throw at us?
Okay, well, I actually did my shopping this week.
Well, the shopping part we're going to do in the second hour.
Oh, okay. Whoops, sorry, I'm not awake yet.
No, you're fine.
No, I'm really
You're
not awake
okay.
yet. Okay, so there's only really Tanny and I. And what we tend to do is I do a massive roast dinner on a Sunday. Okay, where I will buy the cheapest chicken I can find for like $2.99. I will buy a £6 in money, £6 piece of meat, like a pork or something like that. And then I will just load up cooking up a whole heap of veg. So we'll get 2 roasts out of that, and it won't cost more than 20 quid.
Just for clarification, quid is in reference to their
pounds.
dollar, which is or a pound.
Did you guys use pounds for money for weight? So
Right.
It gets confusing.
You're good.
So what we do then is we get a roast on the Sunday, we get a roast on the Monday, and then I make a pie, like a roast veg pie, and that will do us 2 or 3 meals. Then I might do a pasta dish, which will do 2 or 3 meals. Then we'll do that with something with rice and have another 2 or 3 meals. And in between, whatever's left of the big joint will go through our meat slicer and be used for sandwiches and stuff for Tanny's lunches for work. But that'll do us 2 weeks worth of meals. So, and even when I had all my kids and stuff, I'd do something like that and it would last us the week. Maybe the Saturday we might end up with leftover night or something like that. But most of the time we would end up with full meals each and every day by doing it that way. And there's less prep involved and there's less work involved because you've done it all. You've done most of it the one time, and then just the rest of it just gets made up into the meals that you just pull out when you need them. So yeah, that's kind of how we do it.
I'm giggling reading the comments. Simply Jan Homestead. Jan is saying that she's still learning how to cook for 2. It's been 18 years now, but she doesn't know if she'll ever learn. I agree.
I can't do it either.
Yeah, I've been cooking for
no.
10 plus for my oldest is 25, so I've been doing that for 25 years, so I will always be cooking for too many people. So
theoretically,
we leftovers later.
Go ahead, Blue.
Totally understand, because when we make chili, we make it for 47 people.
Okay.
No matter how
So I
hard
totally get it.
try, we have leftovers for days and months.
I mean, like I used to have foster kids, and at one point we had Christmas with not just my two boys and their friends, because some of their friends had gone away their parents had gone away but left the kids behind. So we had extra 6 kids there, so there were 8 of them. Plus I had 16 foster kids, 9 of which were dumped on us on the Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story to have and listen to that one.
That's a whole nother story. So we had all of them and my ex-husband, and we still made it work because you have to. But because I was a chef for 26 years who used to feed anywhere between 500 and 2,500 people a day, it kind of just was easy just to put it all together because you just learn how to do it. It's just you do it bigger.
I like what Pooch over at Full Blown Country says. I cook for 2 and I eat every bit of it.
Well, and not to just jump on the wagon here, but that's we were a family of 5, and we still kind of cook like a family of 5, even though really there's 2, sometimes 3 here, depending on how much Rooster's gone for college and stuff like that. But beautifully, what that does when you go from cooking for a big family down to a small family is it does exactly what we're talking about. Is now you learn that you can freeze, you can and then you have several meals worth in it for relatively still a small amount of cost, because probably like most everyone here that's talking and in the chat, we lived on a very small budget for that size of a family. So we've learned that now that budget actually extends farther. Now that it's just 2 of us for that same amount of budgeted food, we don't have to change our economic load, how much is going out anymore, but we get more bang for the buck, per se,
Yeah.
No pun intended, buck. Anyway.
Buck.
Totally get it.
Are you there, Tiffany, or are you not there?
She's there.
Her eyes
She's
are
there.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. So, well, I want to show you guys something, okay? And this kind of goes into what this segment is about, and we'll move on to the next person here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to talk for Tiffany because I know she really can't. It's not working, she says. She made broth 2 days ago, I think it was, or yesterday. She then transferred meat and juice into a soup today. And then you go on and you do the next thing the next day. It's about getting the best out of what you make, I think is the best way I want to say it. I'll give you another example, and I'm going to show you something to share here. This is what Ginger did today. So Ginger took 2 turkey hindquarters and a turkey drumstick, cooked them off, and can you see my arrow or not? No, you probably can't.
No.
The one on the left is turkey meat, and then the one on the right is turkey bone and leftovers, and then she got the 3 jars of broth out of it. It's about taking those things and using them for far more than what most people think to utilize it for. It's not just a meat. It's not just a soup.
And don't be afraid to try things.
Right.
Don't be afraid to use those bones to make a bone broth. Don't be afraid to boil things down and scoop it out and use it again and again, and in casseroles and in other things. You can make your meals go a whole lot further if you're not throwing things away. I mean, and that's what we have to get through our minds, is that there's not a lot of waste. You know, anything that when we butcher animals, anything that is not something that we would personally eat, I actually save in my freezers for my dogs. So like, I don't eat heart or liver. That's just, I can't do it. A lot of people do though, so use that for yourself. But I put my liver, I slice it up and I put it through my freeze dryer, and I have dog snacks for my dogs.
How do you get your liver back in your body then? If you take your liver and...
I know. No, so like when we butcher because we butcher all of our big animals, and when I do send it to the butcher, I let them know I want all the fat. I want, because I'll make towel out of that and boil that down and have my own grease, my own oils, and I'll use that for soaps, or I'll use that for candles, or I'll use that for regular cooking oil. And then I tell them I don't want you to get rid of any of those bones. Like, I have a half of a freezer. Thank you. God bless you. She brought me more coffee.
Rowan, come to my house and get me some, please.
That's Gracie. Gracie made it.
Oh, I thought it was Rowan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, so I always like, what is it? Big Valley saying, if you mess up the first time making broth, you tried, eventually it will work. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use that for soup the next day. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be really thick and heavy broth, or it could be just a light, watery broth. It doesn't matter. Throw your noodles in there, throw some meat in there, throw some vegetables. You've got soup.
Yeah.
My kids' most favorite soup to make is they each pick an ingredient out of the pantry, some random. I've got an extra can of beans. I've got an extra can of, corn, whatever, and throw all that together in a pot and make stone soup.
Yes.
And we do that regularly, as it's a family tradition now. And the kids get all excited when they see Mom get the big pot out to put on top of our wood stove in the wintertime, because they know what we're going to do with that.
Brenda, thank you. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Make it a fun experience, but don't be afraid to try. I love those pictures that Ginger sent you, because that's exactly what this is all about, is utilizing those bits and pieces and being able to use it again and again in different meals.
Dale, did you have anything to add to your meals that you guys do, or did you kind of sum it up?
No, actually, I come with 2 recipes, right off the bat. Yeah. And one of them I brought up the other night to Tony, or the other day when I was talking to him, and some people may not like it or not, but like I said, we used to live on a tight budget. I used to make tuna corn casserole for the kids. A can of tuna was like under $1. A tube of saltine crackers, you could buy the whole box for 99 cents. If you buy the off-brand, a can of corn, if you go to the right place, if you're not canning it yourself, you can buy most of it for 49 cents a can. 1 egg. Combine those ingredients, cover it with very little milk, just enough to cover it, in the oven at 350, and you serve the whole family a 1-dish meal for a family of 4.
Yep.
Dude, yours was posh.
Yeah. I mean, it's very filling and very hearty. That's one of them. And then I love this talk, like you guys have been talking about, using all of, are just trying new things and throwing things together. So I know I'm going to butcher the name. Please help me again, Tony. The not rice, but starts with a Q.
Oh, quinoa.
Quinoa. That was it. Quinoa. So we actually found quinoa on, white rice or quinoa was exactly the same price in our grocery store. $1.25 for a whole box. So we cooked that. 1 pound of ground pork burger. Actually, I was just at the grocery store 2 days ago, and the off-brand, the generic brand, Always Save, was still 99 cents. So on the crackers. But so we took this quinoa. We took 1 pound of ground pork burger, which we're kind of like Kris. We do most of the freezer camp animals ourselves. But even at that, you can find some 80-20 grind for relatively inexpensive. We combined those 2 ingredients. So we fried our hamburger. We cooked the quinoa. And then 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Combine that. Amazing meal. Amazing meal. It was so good. Not to mention for us now, we saved it and we ate it again the next day because there was plenty. It makes an abundant amount.
Right.
And we're doing more and more of that type of a meal. When a garden comes on, of course, it gets even cheaper to have meals over and over again.
Well, and don't be afraid to buy a meat grinder. I have an attachment for my KitchenAid, but they have standalone ones that are hand cranked that you can get for less than $50 with the price of ground beef right now. Watch those sales for London broils, for roasts. I know that they had roasts at our grocery store for $1.47 a pound last week, limit 4 packages. I stocked up because I can't buy hamburger meat for twice that amount right now. So, utilize that. I actually got out my postage scale and covered it with paper towels and made myself bags of a pound and a half, because I know that's what our family takes when we have, the 5 of us, with having, Berlin being a huge child man cub and Larry. So I know how much meat I have to have. So we measured it out, and then whatever was left over in that bowl that night, that's what we did with spaghetti. And you don't have to have meat every meal. I mean, I'm a meat eater, don't get me wrong, but regular spaghetti with just tomato-based sauce with no meat tastes just as well some nights, especially if you have Parmesan cheese for the top of it.
Yes. So, JJ and Michelle, how about you guys? What recipes could you offer that might be less than $10 for 4 people?
This is pretty regular for us. We will make spaghetti, and I cannot cook for 2. So, what was it? Maybe 5 days ago, 6 days ago, when I make spaghetti, I just make a big pot. And when I say that, I think we all have that same big pot, right? And so I use a couple of pounds of ground beef that we buy ours at a butcher about 30 miles from here. We'll stock up and stock the freezer. And so I just kind of we always have whatever kind of meat we need in the freezer. And then we'll use 2 or 3 quarts of tomato sauce. We do can our own tomato sauce, and it is cheaper. We love it because it doesn't have anything but a pinch of salt. And now I don't think I can. We had to use some canned tomato sauce, and now I really do see the difference. But if you can't can your own, that's fine. I mean, we did that. I did that my whole life. Throw that in there. A little bit of fresh garlic. Kris, we don't have to have meat in our spaghetti. I like to use zucchini and mushrooms, It's just as good as using meat. And with the price of meat now, whatever, just go find the stuff on sale and put it in there. But I make enough where we get, because it's the 2 of us, so we'll have spaghetti for dinner, usually another spaghetti one more time that week. And then I get 3 to 4 full bread pans of lasagna after that.
That's awesome.
Now I've got it. I'm pointing at my freezer, right? So now I've got 3 lasagnas. Yes, John and George, I know. And they'll be over. My neighbors, they'll be over. But anyway, 1 lasagna is still a dinner for the 2 of us and a lunch for the other one. So you get a lot of mileage out of spaghetti. And now
it's just like Tiffany's saying right there, you can turn that into spaghetti pie or pizza with leftovers, or like you said, lasagna,
Or chicken parmesan. I made meatballs Monday, and I made just enough for a couple, well, really for just that night. But I took the leftover sauce, instead of throwing it out, I put it in the fridge, took out 1 breast, cut it in half, made chicken parmesan, and threw a little bit of fresh mozzarella on top, maybe a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup. And that's what we had for dinner last night. And it doesn't take any time, but we get a lot of meals out of 1.
It's one of those, initially it might be, a few bucks, but if you spread that over 5-6 meals,
right,
all of a sudden that, really takes.
Well, Annie, Annette from Annie's Kitchen and Urban Homestead. I watched a video she had out just in the last few days, but she went and did a grocery. I think it was a grocery haul. I can't remember what she was doing, but here's the point behind it, and it goes exactly with what JJ's saying. You can go in and buy a package of 2 large, huge breasts. Let's just for example, they don't have to stay 2 breasts like she did. She cut them in half, and that gave her 4 meals.
Yeah.
Why not do it that way? Especially if you find yourself, the cursed word, throwing food away, feeding your animals with what's left over because it's not getting done. That means you need to modify how much you're cooking. I get, because I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I get that you can't cook for 2 people, but just like Michelle just said, or I've heard Pam, I've heard Kris, I've heard Dale, and I know I'm about to say the same thing. Just because you cook for 18 or 85 or 10,000 doesn't mean you have to eat it that night or throw it away. You're setting yourself up for preservation just in that alone, as long as you do something with it. So.
And we're coming up on next week in the United States for the Great Turkey Broth.
Yep. Oh yeah, we always save our
Extravaganza.
carcass, and if we don't, we don't put it in that night. We put it in the freezer, and then just bring it out later and throw it in. Either a pot or, oh my gosh, I've just discovered my Instant Pot, and what a delight it is! Oh my gosh, you guys. We buy chicken.
Welcome to the dark side.
You know what? We buy chicken legs and chicken thighs with the bone-in skin on for 97 cents a pound, generally speaking, once a month. Our local grocery store will have that. And I take 4 legs, fill up 5 quarts, put that baby on for about 15 minutes. We can either freeze or can the broth, use a quart or 2 that week, but I always save the rest. And then I take the chicken. If it tastes good, I just kind of eat it while I'm doing all that. And then I take some of that chicken though and throw it in with some leftover rice. And I do give my dogs a treat because it breaks up their diet. It breaks up the cost of dog food. And we don't waste a thing when we do that.
But I think it goes with, and me and Tiffany and Ginger were talking today, and it really comes down to, it's a mindset change. That's really what it comes down to. It's not that you're a bad person or you don't know how or whatever. It's getting yourself into that mode that's what I got to do. When you were talking about taking the turkey carcass, almost every year, it's the ritual around here. We do the dinner, the dishes get done, everybody has desserts, everybody leaves, and me and my wife are putting the carcass in a pan. We're boiling it off. We're getting those bones cooked down. It's something we just do, and it becomes that mindset you get used to and jump into. And I'm sure Bloo does a ton of that kind of stuff. I'm sure she does that as well, and Kris, I know Kris has to, and Dale, I'm assuming, does. But I mean, it is really, in the end of it, it really comes down to where it's the mindset change. That's what everybody has to get to. With all the inflation prices, you have to get yourself to, and I'm not talking about stuff hitting the fan. I'm not talking about panic mode or fear mongering or any of that. You just have to get yourself into a mindset. And it goes back to what JJ said. You may put out that cost originally, but over time, bulk will save you money. And I'm here to tell you that. When I wanted to have a list for everybody today, and I've explained, some don't know this, but I wanted to have a list in the description box tonight on how easy it is to set yourself up for not a prepper pantry, but a food storage pantry that you could turn into a revolving, constant rotation process. Okay. Didn't get it done because I only got about 3/4 of the way done. But the point I'm trying to get to in doing that, when I looked and compared at 4 pounds, or no, sugar was 4 pounds, 5 pounds of flour compared to 25 pounds of flour, there was 7 cents an ounce difference in price. That equates to $3. That's the difference. when you
Well,
don't
and
look
that
at
$3 can buy you, how many cans of vegetables extra or how many heads of
Right.
lettuce extra. You have to look at it from a
Yep.
totally different perspective.
And- no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when Larry and I first got married, we had no money, none.
Yeah.
And I had a new baby. Shelby was born on our first anniversary, so we were struggling, babies ourselves. We were married early, and so we figured out a way. And I was very blessed that my parents had always taught us, you always try and shop and be prepared ahead of time, whether you have money or not.
Right.
I mean, my dad is a toilet paper hoarder. It is what it is. Every time he goes to Costco, he buys, 2 big packs of toilet paper just in case. And it's just him and my mom now at their house. But
so when my Costco runs out, I'm coming to Arizona.
You're gonna have to. So we kind of giggle about that, but it's one of those things where my dad always taught us, you go through your pantry, you see what you're short. Right. That's what you're purchasing, not the food for this week. You're purchasing what you're short. So if you only have 3 cans of green beans and you are a canned green bean eater,
yep,
then make sure when you go to Costco, you buy it. I think they come in 12 packs at Costco. And then those go on the back of your shelf and you move those 3 other cans forward and you rotate everything. We write the date with a Sharpie on top of everything when we go to Costco so I can pay attention to what I'm doing. Utilize Amazon. I know this sounds really, really stupid, but I drink almond milk rather than cow's milk some days when my goats aren't giving me anything. Almond milk is cheaper for me to get a case of it through Amazon delivered for free than it is for me to even get it at Costco. So know your prices. Have things delivered if they are less expensive. Like there are certain things at my local grocery store I refuse to buy. I will wait for the 2 weeks until I drive the 30 miles to town.
Right.
Rather than the 6 miles to the grocery store, because I'm going to end up saving in the long run, and I'm already going to town to begin with. So the gas doesn't go into that consideration. Right. So you look at those kind of things and try and figure out what works. Buy your flour, your sugars, your vanilla, your seasonings in bulk especially if you're not going to grow those seasonings. Right. But buy those in bulk and spread that out over 6 months or 8 months or 10 months or whatever it takes to use that up. I buy salt in big, big containers. That salt will last me 6 or 8 months. Mm. I've learned that making bread is only going to cost me 50 cents a loaf versus $3.50 a loaf at the grocery store. Right. I'm saving that $3 then just by pulling out my bread machine and dumping ingredients in. If I don't have time to sit and actually make bread, we'll let the machine do it. Find what works, and that's the biggest thing.
So I'm not sure why there's like a negative connotation for prepper pantry and all this stuff. It's really rotational food storage.
And it really is, but from my perspective, just so you know and understand me, I'm not trying to, at least from, again, my perspective.
Sure.
I don't want to be what I'm trying to show everybody. I'm not talking about 10 years, 25 years, that kind of stuff. I'm looking at, when you look at what the standard guidelines are for how long you can keep food and things like that, and your jars now are 18 months and blah, 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 all that stuff put together. I look at what is a continual rotation food storage.
That's right.
I don't look at it as a prepper pantry. I don't look at it as a long-term, meaning more than 2-year food storage, because I'm hoping I'm rotating that stuff through so I'm not losing anything. But
that's exactly my point.
I don't even like more than 1 year. I've got some canned food right now that I know exactly what went into it. And I'm bumping, we just had some tomato sauce the other day. That was 9 of 21. I'm freaking out. What am I going to do to use that food? Because I know, Kris, I know. But I mean, we're newer canners. We're newer at this. And I still have the mindset because I grew up on the Costco canned food.
Yep.
And I don't even like frozen vegetables. So that's another issue I've got.
But with what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I
I
thought you were
like you. I don't want to have 25 years worth of rice because
there's nothing wrong with that. I think that people do that. That's okay. I try to keep what I talk about away from that and separated from that because I'm more, it's just, you look at my tagline. It's be safe, think ahead, meal prep with ease, and somebody help me.
Good luck.
We don't know what your tagline is. We just know you're Tony.
Oh, Lordy. I can't even think right now.
I think what he's trying to say is about everyday life rather than just being about.
Go ahead, Blue. Sorry.
I think what Tony's trying to say is it's about everyday living. It's not about trying to set a bunker up.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just trying to help people get through their everyday life at the minute a little bit better than they probably thought that they could.
You get real good at that food storage. If you get good at that, which, you know, we're just still trying to get into that groove.
Yeah.
Then you worry about that other stuff, right? Let's get to where, oh, wow, I can go and get this on the shelf and replace that and move it forward, you know, do all that stuff and rotate it. And you get that down, you're really going to have almost 2 years worth of food.
Theoretically, as long as you're not freaking out like Michelle, yes, you are correct.
Well, you guys, I am a freak about it too. I just
don't.
I can't.
That is something. As a new person to this, you will find yourself, because another conversation me and Tiffany had today with Ginger was when we all first started, it was throw us into the prepper mentality. Joe Blow over on channel X, Y, and Z just went out and bought $5,000 worth of food. I got to compete with them to make my pantry look like what they got.
No,
I grew up living that, Tony. And so I was already in that mindset. Knowing that I needed to be prepared. So the best advice I can give anyone who's getting started in actually making a prepper pantry, start with making a monthly menu and figure out exactly what your family would eat. So let's say, you know, once a week you guys have chili for lunch or for dinner. You need to make sure that you have 2 cans of chili for lunch, let's say, per time. So that's 8 cans of chili that month. So when you go to purchase something, you purchase 16 cans of chili. So now you're ahead by a month, and leave it at that. So that's the best advice I can give, is just go through and figure out what your actual foods are. Don't buy things that you're not going to eat. Don't buy things that are going to go bad and you're going to throw away. Buy the things that your family eats. So if you know you have spaghetti, you know, 4 times a month, then you're going to go buy 8 jars of spaghetti sauce if you don't make your own. And then you've got 4 for later, and you rotate. That's how you start your rotation.
I'm kind of along the lines here with Annette, in the sense of the best advice, because I don't disagree with what Kris is saying, because I think whether you're doing long-term or you're doing short-term or you're doing just let's round my corners so I know what I got going in and out, I think you need to look at a list, whether that's a week long, 2 weeks long, a month long, or a year long, whatever your situation fits. Look at it from, what is it going to take to create that? What do I need to keep on hand? And what do I need to go to the store and still get, or my vendor or my butcher or whatever that is? Okay. The biggest thing that goes with it, though, is you got to start somewhere. The whole point is you got to start. I don't care if it's 1 can a month you're buying, 1 bag of beans you're buying, 1 bag of rice you're buying. I need 5 more pounds of flour because by the end of the month, I want to learn how to make bread on my own. Whatever it takes, you got to do it. Don't talk about it, because if you keep talking about it, next year you're going to be saying the same thing.
I mean, when I moved in with Tanny, it took me, I had to start with nothing, because he lived on pork pies and toast. Right. So like our pantry took us, well, I'm still building it 4 years later. You know, we've never had the money to be able to go out and spend £5 worth of food, let alone 600. And I know, Kris, that you do that, and that's fine. That's entirely you. But like our monthly budget for food, including like bulk stuff and pantry and stuff, is 200 quid. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we've got, and we've got to do the lot with that.
So
people here with a lot less than that as well, that they can, you know, they're scratching just to feed their families on 20 quid.
So I want to throw this out because Annette said this, and I'll come back and tie this into what Bloo just said. She is correct. You don't need to spend $1,000 on a budget or make a budget of $1,000 on food just for that kind of stuff. You can buy additional items as you go to your normal shopping, even if it's one item. One item starts you in a direction. I really, really wish I had gotten that done. That list I'm trying to put together will be broken down into a week, bi-weekly, or fortnight, like Annette calls it, or Bloo to some degree. I've heard her use the term as well. A month, 6 months, or a year. Okay. Not only that, it's going to be broken down into other ways. Actually, 3 other ways, if I remember right. $25 a month, $10 a month, and $5 a month. What can I get for those categories? If I fit into where Bloo's at and I only can scrape $5, can I still do what you're talking about? Hell yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you got $1 you can pull out, or £1 or 1 quid, you can do it.
The Tennessee Butcher just made a very good point. 1 extra pound of dried beans or rice makes a difference.
It does.
It absolutely does. And it's $1.25 at Dollar Tree right now, you guys.
And that's okay. So this is really why I wanted Tiffany and Ginger on here, because we had this conversation. Ginger just made the point off to the side. That's how her and her husband did what they did to build up their system, was they went to the dollar store. Okay. Which really is going to segue us into this next part. Okay. So I think we're going to go ahead and move into what the next segment is. Kris, if you got to go, you can go. If you don't, please stay.
Now I've had 3 cups of coffee, so I'm good.
Okay. All right.
You know, so go ahead, Tony.
My only other thing is, we had talked about, and I really want to stay on track with this, and this is making me want to do it even more. And this goes back to kind of filling in JJ and Michelle a little bit. Okay. Friday night, late night was intended so that I could reach out to Bloo. I could reach out to Daz. I could reach out to Annie or Annette. Kris could jump on and have a good time with us. Dale was up late on Friday nights. Let's just get together and chat. This was never intended to be what it has turned into. But there is people asking for the help. There's people that want to know the information. Last week, correct me if I'm wrong, Bloo and Dale, we decided to provide the same kind of a conversation to people that can't come to the late night because it doesn't fit their schedule. They can't stay up that late. They've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think we've now moved into where Sunday afternoon, we're going to start having the same conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a total repeat of this, but at the same token, it touches on it. It delves a little more into it, or it gives people the same information they got before. Point is we're trying to get it out there. All this can be done. You don't have to stress about it. Really, yes, food prices suck. I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody about that. But if you just use your head about it, you can get through it, even if they do increase a little bit more. At some point, some people aren't going to be able to do that, and I get that. But if you can just do like TN Bushcrafter said, if you can buy a bag of rice, if you could get an extra can of beans, if you could do this, if you could do that, it's going to help you somewhere along the way. And so, my friends on the panel, we need to have that discussion afterwards tonight, because we need to make that decision. But I do believe that's probably what's going to happen. So, Dale, what were you going to say?
Well, I think those are perfect points, and so I was sitting here listening to all the talk about it and talking about, to me, that's all of a sudden like this cliquish term, a prepper pantry. Guys, where I'm from, that's called your kitchen pantry because it's 30 miles for us to just go to a grocery store.
Mm.
So, and you never knew. We could have icy roads. We could have, you know, you couldn't make it to town,
No.
or a bad storm or whatever. So that's how we prepare here.
Yep.
It's hard to go to a single house in our country that doesn't have that. And we don't think of it as oh, I'm prepared for a year. No, it's just that's what's in the kitchen or, in the cabinet.
Mhm.
But the other thing about it is, so a lot of people talking about higher prices, at the grocery store and everything like that. A
Mhm.
lot of us really haven't noticed it until later because of how we are prepared. We kind of run on that moving pantry, like you're talking, at
Mhm.
least 1 to 2 months worth. And it goes back, I seen in the chat earlier, and I can't remember who it was, and I don't want to scroll up right now and take the time to do it, but it was fresh on my mind.
Lazy.
Well, at the fact that, I remember who it was. It was CNC Farm. That they had a break and leak and stuff like that. Well, it's for our family. It became a necessity because we were living, like Kris said, small budget, didn't have a whole lot of means. So that would prepare us for if, like, I couldn't go to work, or
Yep.
someone got sick or something like that. It was our cushion. So this month, if we had to spend money to fix the car, or someone had to go to the doctor or bills or get medicine or something like that, we still had food in the pantry. I mean, that's more what it's about. Whether you do this just to be prepared for whatever, to me, it's more about a way of life. We have friends that I talk to that live in the larger town where I work by us, and like they go to the grocery store every night, and they were the first ones that, like, can you believe how much the price of stuff is? Well, if you'd plan out your meals like a couple weeks at a time, you wouldn't notice it so much. If you weren't driving to the grocery store every day after work and go, okay, what are we going to fix for dinner? Well, you wouldn't be subject to such a high price, And
Well,
I
and
don't
that
mean
really
that
comes
to
back
be
to
mean
that
to
mindset
somebody.
thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's just that mentality of, the grocery store is always going to be there. And this big old thing that happened in the last couple of years worldwide really brought that to light of how fragile that type of a food system is.
Yeah.
And there was another conversation that happened over the last few days, because I know I've talked to a few of you. I don't know if I've talked to all of you about it, but here's my issue. Okay. The big things that happened over the last few years, there was there were effects that took place that caused that to happen to a degree. I get that. Okay. What we're dealing with today is not, and I'm not here for a political discussion. This is just my point of view, and I'm just throwing it out there. What we're having today is not effects of that directly. What we're having today is not effects of inflation only. What we're having today is not effects of one thing. What is happening today is politics, inflation slightly, and a lot of price gouging.
Profiteering, I'd like to say.
Profiteering fits right into that.
I'd like to say profiteering, to be fair.
And I agree with you. I do.
When you hear a news story about something on the other side of the world, and then what's already been in store and sitting in the grocery store for months doubles in price overnight, that is a problem.
That
Yeah.
is a problem.
I mean, over here at the moment, they're saying that there's an egg shortage because of avian flu. That's rubbish.
And hear her out on this. Do hear her out.
The farmers have actually come out and said it's rubbish. It's just that the supermarkets have put the price up of eggs and they're not paying the farmers an extra whack of that. So the farmers are refusing to sell them the eggs.
So there
Or
is
the
a
birds.
shortage, but it's caused by them being greedy.
There was an avian flu outbreak last year. They have put the birds in lockdown this year, but there have been no farmers culling birds this year. So there is no avian flu outbreak as yet.
And people forget that birds start laying eggs at 5 to 6 months.
Yes.
So
Yep.
timing wise,
There is no reason there should be an egg shortage.
exactly.
No.
It was $27 for a 5 dozen pack of eggs at my local grocery store this week.
And
Yeah.
you know what?
I
You know
have
what
freeloaders
irritates
in my
me?
yard right now.
You know
I'm
what
not eating.
irritates me?
What?
Is I can go to Walmart and get it for $7.88 right now. Same.
For
Five
the big 5 dozen?
5 dozen, $7.88
Yeah, our
at
5 dozen was
Walmart.
20 at Walmart, so it was a little bit less. But
Yeah.
you know, one other
Now, that
thing that I
doesn't-
wanted to mention,
But that
too-
doesn't mean that isn't happen. I want to throw this out there because
Mhm.
remember when we started having this conversation, my eggs were costing $21 and $22
Yes.
for 5 dozen. Why is it that it can go up and down that quick? We've only been having this conversation for 5, 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about with the $10 meals too is go through, if you're close to any grocery stores that you can shop at, make sure that you're checking their weekly ads. So here's my Safeway ad on my app. I know that I have to run out for animal feed tomorrow. I have to go to the local feed store, so I'm going to be driving right by this Safeway. Well, I'm looking at this, and 5-pound bags of potatoes are 77 cents each for the first 2. Yeah, I'm going to go pick up both of those for 77 cents. A pound of butter for $1.97. We haven't seen
What?
those.
I'm coming to visit you.
Ours was two- My
This is
Safeway is
why-
$2.99. I'm listening to her prices and I'm like, I was excited about what we were getting, and now I'm just jealous.
Right? This is the weekly ad that just started for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going through it and I'm making my list. Actually, that's what I was doing before I logged into this chat, you guys, because I'm like, oh, and I yelled to my son Berlin and I said, hey, guess what? You're going with me to the feed store and the grocery store now because I can get 2 pounds of butter for $2 a piece.
Yep.
We haven't seen those
Wow.
prices, and it's limit the first 2. So
Yep.
make sure you guys are utilizing,
I just seen
Your
Blue's blood
ad.
pressure skyrocket.
right? Well, and I just am looking because at our grocery store for the last
Excuse me.
4 months, we haven't been able to find butter for less than $5 for a 2 pound or for a pound box. You know,
Here's the other thing I want to throw into that, what she's saying too. And think about this now and just go with what I'm saying, please. Okay. If you go by, and I'm just going to pick something random. If you go and you go get the sale that she's talking about and they have cranberry sauce, jellied cranberry. Okay. I don't care whether you like it or not. It's not the point. Check your Best Buy. We don't have to have that discussion right now, but check your
Right.
dates because odds are that will get you through next year.
yes.
fine. So if you
Yes.
can do it now, pre-buy for next year.
And
Yeah.
that's a great way to start building that rotational
Yeah.
pantry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 100% correct.
And that's what we're doing. Every Thanksgiving, I will go through and take advantage of those exact specials that are available on
Mhm.
non-perishables. And then, we don't eat cranberry sauce all the time, but we probably eat 4 or 5 cans in a year. So, it's there, it's ready, and it was half the price.
Like that, and I've got some pretty awesome recipes with cranberry sauce because last year I got 6 cases of it
Okay.
gifted to my family.
You
So I
better-
have a stack of cranberry sauce. Now, another thing to look at is use your Thanksgiving leftovers and make a tradition out of it.
Yep.
Yes.
We make egg rolls out of our leftovers. Thanksgiving egg rolls, and we make that like 2 or 3 days later with whatever's left over. It could be your green bean casserole. It could be your turkey in there, your mashed potatoes, and we roll it in egg roll wraps and fry those. And then we make a sauce out of the cranberry sauce and dip them in that. And my kids look forward to it every year.
I
So
know a
find
channel
things like
who's
that.
got a video out right now. I'm not going to mention any names, but this channel, oh, you got to check it out. It's awesome.
And I
Thanksgiving
guarantee I'll
leftovers,
have
you gotta
another
check 'em
video
out.
this year again. Oh, these guys too? See?
Yes.
You guys, I know I want anything fried is good. Okay, is
Yeah.
it good for us? Not necessarily, but it's good for the soul.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm prepping for heaven and saying cranberry sauce is great with chicken or pork too. If you
Yes.
guys crock pot like I do, sauces and chutneys and all that kind of stuff are amazing on pork chops. You
Yep.
throw in your meat, you throw in a can of, and we do our home cans. Berlin actually made one the other day. Now, be very proud of him. 16-year-old, autistic, and he's in cooking something other than tacos.
Yay!
He's throwing, in the crock
Or
pot.
Takis.
Or Takis and tacos and Mountain Dew. Oh my gosh, that's what that boy lives on. But he actually used the crock pot the other day and made a video. And all he did was put pork chops and then our cherry chutney. But you can do cranberries on that. You can do all sorts of other things and let that simmer and cook down. Add a little bit of water in to make sure you don't burn on the bottom, if there's not enough water in. But it makes a fantastic sauce on those meats too. And it's not a ton of, not a ton of sugar unless you're using jelly style.
Right.
But you can do that, and it's just something different and scrumptious and tasty. And like I said, even a 16-year-old can do that.
Right.
So
Cranberry
Okay.
sauce is
everybody's
really good on
posting
a
their
Yule log
prices.
as well. I'm just
What
saying.
was that, Blue?
I said cranberry sauce is really good on a chocolate Yule log as well. I'm just saying.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Or
Yeah,
you
so
could-
you got your
or-
chocolate
or-
sponge, you got your cranberry sauce, and then you got your cream, and then you roll it up. Yeah, that right
Okay.
there.
Or you can go watch one of my videos on chocolate covered cherry jam and throw that in a Yule log.
What?
Mhm.
So
Laugh at me. What's a Yule log?
It's
Um,
the rolled log, the cake log.
A cake.
Cake log.
Like a gigantic ho ho?
It's a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
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 Oh heaven! Oh my God!
I was gonna-
like
I
It's like
actually was going to
that
use
big.
that description, Michelle. I was going to say
Oh,
like
I
a
love
ho or Swiss
ho-hos.
cake roll.
I love that. A giant ho ho. I love it. I love
You
it.
guys are awesome.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was paying attention to chat.
I just looked at it. Go ahead.
And CNC Farm, Ashley again comes back with another one that caught my eye and was talking about the deals at the grocery store, the limits, like Kris was talking about. She makes her daughter follow her either in another line or behind her so she can get the next two. So
Yep.
I guarantee you, like the butter deal, that would be when we would be stocking up because the rest of that butter would go in our freezer.
Yeah.
We would put one in the fridge and the rest in the freezer. That's why when butter price shot up, we didn't really notice it because we had 5 or
Right.
6 pounds sitting in a freezer.
So,
You know?
so I want to. This kind of ties into what's on the screen as well as what you just said, because this was another conversation. I'm opening this invitation to anybody that's been on this panel during this conversation. So bear that in mind. Not a have to. It's an invitation. Me and Tiffany and Ginger are going to start a once a week video. We're going to have a shelf that is what can we get for $25, and every week we're going to show everybody so that at an end of 6 to 8 weeks we can show what we were able to build up in our pantry from those purchases.
That's
Okay.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
People want to know what it looks like. How easy is it? How hard is it? Well,
Yeah.
we're going to show you. So okay,
That's
I want to get through this. Sorry, Michelle.
That's a good idea. That's all.
It is a good idea.
And I thought I did say Tiffany. Me too applies to that. It's Tiffany, Ginger, and I. Okay, so I want to get to my 2 things real quick. One, I'm going to make very easy for you. If you're interested, go look on my channel. It's the Kratranza recipe. Okay. Hear me out. I'll go through it really quick. It's got cabbage, onions, and carrots all diced up and chopped. Okay. It's got to have in that one. It's got these amounts I'm giving you. Do not compare to the video because that was made for 18 to 20 some people. Okay. This is what I'm telling you.
You cooked for my house?
No, that's my weekly Sunday dinner. Once a week, we have all our family over and we have dinner together. And so
Gotcha.
So it's got cabbage, onions, and carrots. Then you could do a half pound of ground beef, half pound of ground Italian sausage, mix those together, fry them up. When you get that done and drained, then you mix all those vegetables so they're all sauteed together. Then you make a dough and you fill them. They're basically like a pizza pocket. That meal, which feeds, I'm assuming at this amount, because we don't usually make it this small, I'm assuming at this amount you get 18 to 20 of them, Kratranzas. Those things are huge. Somebody like Ginger and Tiffany are probably only going to eat one like that, maybe two. Okay. So you're going to feed
for one of them.
Okay, whichever. You get what I'm saying though. But it's 18 to 20 of those, and it's only costing me, I sat here and broke the price down. That would only cost me $9.98.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that one. The other one I have is, we just call it Mom's Dish. Okay. So what we do is we take 4 packages of top ramen. We make the top ramen like you normally would. Don't put the seasoning in it. Then we take a pound of ground beef, brown it up, drain it. Then we take the noodles out of the top ramen because they've been drained. Save your water. Put the noodles into the pan. Put the seasoning over it. Throw a can of vegetables. I don't care what kind you like. Throw something in there. And then you drizzle the water from the noodles over it until it becomes a moist mixture. Let that sit there for 5-10 minutes. There you go. Boom. And that will cost you $9.82. At least based on my prices right now. There you go.
Cool.
Quick, easy. Okay.
Yeah. Nana probably is going to have some choice words for you when I eat that, because, yeah, I might have gas, but my truck won't. But it sounds amazing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be cheaper than if you go to the Mexican restaurant and eat there.
Oh, yeah.
And do the same thing. So,
You know what? Once you live in the Southwest and you eat Mexican 5 days a week, it doesn't matter anyway.
Exactly.
Your system adjusts and there's none of that going on. So,
But
I did post the link, Tony, for that Kratranza, and I don't know if I spelled it right, but I think I spelled it right.
yes, you did. Good job.
Okay, perfect.
Hey,
Well, I grabbed
Michelle.
that link.
Michelle, you do realize you're on the panel with us, right?
Yeah.
You can say those things out here
Oh,
anytime.
got in.
Why not? We all do it. Okay.
well, I
That's
was-
the point
We've
of
got a
being on
family
the
for everybody then. We've got a local ranch here. It's gigantic. And we live in the valley. So, I mean, we do have rich soil and everything else. And this one particular area floods when we actually have rain. And so we can go there from like mid-June until about mid-October. Just depends on the year. 40 cents a pound, you guys, for vegetables.
Oh,
We
wow.
got 60 quarts of tomato sauce last year. We slow roasted it, and it took us 3 different weekends. But that's why we have left. I mean, we still have over 1-year-old tomato sauce, but we pick exactly what we want. And I mean, you know, you spend a couple hours, and we're getting old and fat.
Well,
But
this
by golly, it's good exercise, and we
Mhm.
get exactly what we want.
and this
Right.
isn't the only place in the United States to go to a U-pick, right?
It's
no.
cleaning. It's
You know,
cleaning, right?
Yeah, we have it. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really good way to get fresh food on the table and in storage and, you
Yeah.
know, all of that stuff.
What I love the best is what happened to us this year. Gentleman and his wife forever have been going to the farmer's market. They have a little 1/4 acre yard that they've turned into a garden. raspberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, and a couple other things, but it's nothing more than that. But it's a lot of it. His wife got sick last year, so she can't go out and help him. He fell down. He can no longer do it. One day at the end of summer, he walks over. He says, I know you got a big family. I've got 80 pounds of tomatoes. If you want to go pick them, they're all yours. Why would I turn that down?
And you helped him.
And I helped him. He said, all I ask is you clean the vines out and put them in a pile, and you've just saved me a headache.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Because you don't want to work that hard and put all of that into it and then just see it fall off.
See, because
he flat out told me, he said, I don't want anything for it. I said, are you sure? I'll pay you something. No, don't. I said, then I tell you what, when we do sauce in February, because that's when we plan on doing our sauce, because I just got them all done and I froze them. I said, when I do sauce, I'll bring you 3, 4, 5, 20 jars. I don't care because you deserve it. He said, do me a favor, bring me a sauce or a jar of sauce, a jar of pasta sauce, and please a jar of hot salsa. And we're even.
Awesome.
I'm trying to figure out how you can fit 80 pounds of tomatoes in your freezer. Just
I have a huge chest freezer.
Yeah, I got 2 of those, but they're filled with steer and pig.
Mine's not. See, this is where we run into a problem, in all honesty. My chest freezer, the one I'm talking about, is half full, but most of it's frozen vegetables, a couple packages of this, couple packages of that, because I can't pay our hamburger right now is $6.99 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
God,
I am not buying hamburger right now. I got news for everybody. Chicken
for those roast and London broil and grind it yourself.
Once I get the grinder, I will. Once I got to get through last chance cook off, and then I can go get the grinder, and then
that sounds a lot like Blue's World with the high meat prices there.
Yeah.
She's worse than we are, though. I'm here to tell you guys. I'm glad I don't live over there and have to pay the prices they do on some of the things they do.
Blue, do you have to pay tax on your food on top of, because we don't pay tax on food.
We do. We if it's processed, yes, we pay VAT, which is value added tax. So basics like meat, veg, fruit, if it hasn't had anything done to it, then we don't pay tax on it.
Okay.
But so say for example, you've got normal rice that you cook yourself, right? We don't pay tax on that. But if this was an Uncle Ben's microwave bag, you'd pay tax on that.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. See, well, I guess we're lucky in that respect that we pay tax if we buy food at a restaurant that's prepared for us.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't even think we pay tax on candy bars.
But we don't even see it because it's already in the price.
Okay.
We
tacked on later.
Yeah, see, we don't see that. It's what the price is on the shelf is what we pay at the till.
Okay.
And I'm aware that in some places over there that's not the case.
Yeah, sometimes that'd be really nice because it gets tacked on to what we take.
Yeah, but see, everything here, if the price on the label is what you pay at the till, no matter what it is. So they can't say, oh, well, you're now paying this. It's like, well, because if I turned up at a supermarket that did that to me, I think I'd have a full-on meltdown because I have an autistic brain and it just wouldn't cope with that at all. Because it's like what it says on the label is what it's meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Right. And even in Australia, what it is on the label is what it is.
So it'd be like just tacking on the price, and having to guess because we just tack on 10%. If we're paying tax on 10%, and then Yeah.
Wow. But see, I don't see why they can't just put that on the thing. What? How is that? Why can't they just put that on the label and go, right? Okay, so we've got to add 10% to it. Mm-hmm. Instead of because not everybody's very good at maths. And some people have problems with that.
Do you guys want to answer this question or not? It's your choice.
Us?
Yes.
Just outside of
Janet,
Sacramento,
we're just
California.
outside of Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on. We
Yep.
are
Okay.
way late off my schedule. So
You
Blue.
never have
Oh,
a
yeah.
schedule.
Blue, would you like to show us what you can get for? I'm changing hers because her pricing's different. Can you show us what you can get for 20 quid, my dear?
Okay. All right. This is what I got this week. Because I've got it all laid out on my table.
Here, let's bigify you.
Oh God. I'm just hoping you can see it. Excuse my house. Okay, so what I did.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. So I've got two
Yeah.
different lots of chickpeas. Hey? Well, okay, so these ones I bought and they were 63p a can.
Like
And
63 cents.
Yeah, like 63 cents. So 63p a can for those. And then I realized when I put them next to the other ones, those I got 2 for £1.
2 for $1, 50 cents.
Yeah,
A piece.
these are 10 grams more than these tins, but they're charging more for these ones than those ones. So yeah, I won't be buying those ones again. I'll only get these ones.
Okay.
I got
You guys
these
tell me.
two.
I can't do anything from here. Sorry, go ahead. I'll shut up.
Okay. These two are a new product, so they were cheap. They were 2 for £1. They're actually like spaghetti loops, but they're made. The pasta is made with carrot and cauliflower, so there's no actual flour in it. So I thought I'd try those out actually. So yeah, they were 2 for £1. The plum tomatoes, the Savers ones, I got 10 cans of those. They were 38p a can. The problem that I have with these is one that the can size is 10 grams smaller than it used to be. But when we opened one up the other day, there's only 3 tomatoes in it. There used to be half a dozen. And it's nearly all juice
on
now.
that. You will never hear the end of that one.
Yeah, that's really starting to bug me, to be honest, because it's like, hang on a second. You know, yeah, they've put the price up by 12p from last year, but they've taken half the contents out and dropped the can size. The same with the chopped tomatoes. Those are like 36p each now. Again, they've dropped the can size. Normal can size here is 410 grams, not 400. And it's nearly all juice. There's not a lot of pulp, which is a pain. I got Tanny's favorite, which is his baked beans. They're £1.25 for 4 at the moment for those ones.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the Heinz ones, you're looking at about £4 for 4 cans because Heinz is just a ripoff. Then the long grain rice. Now, normally I would buy 10 packs of this and that would last us a year because I don't want to buy the big 10 kilo bags because the 10 kilo bags are anywhere between 11 and 15 pounds in money.
Mm-hmm.
These packs last year were 32p each. This year, they're 71 pence, which is a lot more than 11% inflation, to be honest.
Right.
Also, they only have 1 box of them on the shelf. So I don't want to take 10 packs in a go because that's stopping somebody else from getting them. The ones that they have lots of on the shelf are all the packet, half-cooked, steamed Uncle Ben's stuff that is not only overly expensive, but just tastes like plastic in a vial. So I just don't do it. Tastes like crud, man. Okay, so Tanny has these.
And just for clarification, I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
All these items you're showing us were for one single $20.
Yeah, £25.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. These were I got this ham because this is what Tanny loves in his sandwiches. He has this for his lunches and he loves it. This brand name is actually cheaper than the supermarket own brand Savers value one by £1.
Wow.
It's £1 cheaper than the actual Savers one. So we get those, and it's the same size can as well. He likes these. So we get 2 of those. They're about £1 each. And again,
sardines.
They were cheaper again than those. Those were actually 75p each. These were £1.25 each. And that's the supermarket brand, and that's the brand name. So it's like, what is going on? I got 3 packets of these of the noodles. These were cheaper because I got these in the world food aisle. They were £1.25 a packet. But if you go to the pot noodles and the instant noodle aisle, they're actually 50p a packet for each individual packet.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't going to buy them there. So if you go to the World Food, sometimes you'll find them a lot cheaper than you would do for the normal ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This was the only way that I could find sea salt, which really annoyed me because I used to buy it in bags like this, but the only bags that they have of salt at the moment are all the table salt with all the additives and anti-caking agents and stuff, which for me is not worth it because I need it for preserving meat, and I can't use that in preserving meat. So I had to buy those. They were £1.80 each. It's a lot of money for them. When the bags used to be like 70p, and they're not 70p. I got a Coleman's mustard because, you know, mustard. That's kind of a year's worth for us, and that's what, £1.50 I think for a thingy. Woo, sorry. These soups were on offer. There was actually 3, but I had one last night for dinner. So sorry about that. But they were 3 for £1 because they're brand new. The jackfruit we found, normally jackfruit over here is really expensive. It's up to £3.50 a can. I found these for 50p. So I grabbed as many as I could.
Yep.
And this is the cheap tuna, but where we get it in Farm Foods, they have 12 cans for $2.99, whereas 5 cans here of the brand name or even the shop name is about £5.
Wow.
So we just get this because we really don't care that it's not as pretty on the plate.
Pretty.
So yeah, that's kind of what we got. And I also found these. Now I know it's not food, but I like putting things like this aside because you never know when you're going to need them.
Yep.
And I found this in one of the marked down aisles, and it was like 10p.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I just chuck them in the box of the what if box. I've got a what if box. So and these just get chucked in there. So you can chuck them in a grab bag if you've got to go. And you know, if I've got to go and visit my sister really quickly, I'd chuck a set of those in there.
Right.
Because you never know. So yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's what I got.
Well, thank you for sharing. We will move.
Okay,
over.
So
sorry.
Probably. Okay, what I will say is this. All right, sorry, I'm having trouble here. Normally I would buy different cans of certain things. What I did notice while I was shopping is that there's a lot of empty shelves. Okay, so where I would probably buy, because Tanny eats the baked beans, I don't go near the baked beans. Baked beans are rancid, horrible things. And over here, they have a whole entire aisle dedicated to baked beans.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. People are weird. But they have all sorts of flavored ones as well. They've got like beans and sausages. They've got big breakfast ones. They've got big bacon in and all sorts of weirdness. They didn't have any of those. None of them. They're all gone. Nothing on the shelf at all. 2 whole shelves completely empty.
They're waiting for Dale to recycle them and then resend it back over.
Oh God.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around baked beans for breakfast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, people have it on toast over here.
Cold baked beans the next day for breakfast? Get out. That is so good.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have them cold.
Wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't buy the canned baked beans. We make them homemade and we eat them for days.
Yeah.
See, I make pork and beans when I do ham hocks, and I've got 2 ham hocks actually in the fridge at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to make it differently for Tanny because Tanny doesn't like a lot of sweetness in his food. If it's savory food, he doesn't want sweet in it. So I can't do things like add the barbecue sauce that I would normally put in it. I've got to do it slightly different, but I also can't put any spice in it, as in heat spice, because I'd probably kill him because he is a baby mouth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you just call Tanny a snowflake?
No, I'm calling him a baby mouth.
Oh, okay. Just clarify.
Yeah, he's not a snowflake by any means, but he is definitely a baby mouth.
Okay.
He's also really sensitive to alliums, so I have to be very careful when cooking garlic and onions. I have to do it when he's out of the house.
You would not like my house.
Well, see, I love garlic. It's really hard for me. I've just planted 150 garlic outside in my front yard, right? Because I love it. I grow my own garlic so I can pickle it Asian style because I really, really love it like that. But if he walks into the house and there's garlic in the air, it's the gas he's allergic to, and within seconds he looks like someone threw acid in his face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is bad, really bad. And when I've been really unwell and he's gone to make dinner and he's been, bless him, cutting up onions, all you want to do is tuck him up with a hot water bottle in bed because he just looks so awful afterwards. His face is swollen, his eyes are streaming. It's just really, really bad. Yeah, so I tend to cook all that stuff when he's not in the house, and then I fumigate the house because he can eat it if it's in something, as long as there's no gas released from it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the gas that he has a problem with. So, yeah.
At least he can eat it and get the benefits.
Sometimes. I try and sneak it into a lot of things, okay? But he gets very scared when he can taste it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, Michelle and JJ, what did you guys find for $25?
Okay, I'm inspired by Pam, so hold on.
Okay.
We did not get this great of a deal.
No, I didn't either, so don't feel bad.
Okay.
That's all right.
We use these in casseroles, actually. We don't stovetop stuffing as a stuffing, but it comes in very handy for quick weeknight meals. 4 cans of creamed Campbell soups because, and right now they're $1.25 a can if you buy 4, which makes my skin crawl, but that is how it is now.
It is.
Yeah, because I think normal price on those right now is like $2.81 a can. I just about freaked out.
A lovely onion. Why did I buy an onion? I don't know. We have about 50 onions in a closet that we grew last summer.
Because why not? It was there.
Because I wanted to prove something. Okay, a little bag of red new potatoes and some fresh garlic and fresh rosemary because I don't have that growing. But we
Okay.
do like rosemary potatoes in the oven. So I'm
Nice.
trying to plan. Spring onions, green onions. I'm holding them up in the bag.
There you go.
37 cents per
Oh,
celery thing at Safeway right now. I am so excited.
oh,
Oh,
the
I would just be
bag.
picking up the
The-
box and taking it to the
37
till if
cents.
it was costing that. Seriously.
She's saying a bunch, not
For
a
a
small.
bundle. For a
Oh, no,
bundle.
I know. I
Oh,
get that. That's what I'm saying. If they
Okay.
cost that much here or that little here, I'd be picking up the whole box and cutting it.
oh,
to the
okay.
Oh,
till
we were
today.
only allowed to get
Checking
two.
it out.
We can only get two. And then a whole pound of cheese, actually, we had to buy the store brand for $4. Oh my God. Where do
Oh,
you?
wow. That's
are?
good.
Okay. I'm almost done. It wasn't that great of a day, but it was awesome for me. Oops. Four nice
Ooh,
red. Look at those. That is a big one. Look at that. Oh, there we go.
sweet
So
potato.
roasting those off, mashing them, and throwing them in the freezer cubes.
There you go.
And okay, I'm almost done.
Dear Lord.
This is so exciting. So we love tacos, food, and all things like that. So
Mhm.
I got this nice little steak that
Oh, well, good.
look at that. It's a little roast. It was $7 because I got the app today and they gave me, the deal. And then I got 20 soft tacos. So we can do all kinds of things with the food I bought.
Right.
Fajitas, what have you. Anyway, that's my $25, and it was probably about $24.50.
Excuse me. Okay. So before I jump over, did you want to add anything else to that or any comments or anything?
Well, I do want to add one thing. If you don't have the means to pay, buy bulk, like garlic salt or bulk chili powder, you get the big, in the US, you get a big old jar of McCormick at Sam's Club or Costco or something. We have a store here called Winco.
Yep.
And
Love Winco.
I know. I should have gone to
Winco's
Winco.
awesome.
I'd have like a bucket of food. But if you don't know for sure that you want to use a lot of spice or you're not sure if you like it, go grab exactly what you're going to use for that recipe. It's pennies on the dollar. And then build that up just like you would build up your stores, because the plainest food with the simplest spices can change your life.
Yes.
And I think that's something a lot of people are afraid of. They buy those $2 packages of taco seasoning, and honest to God, it's like 30 cents worth of spice.
If you're spending that much, get a hold of me or Blue and we'll tell you how to make taco seasoning. That is ridiculous.
Well, you're paying for preservatives. You're not.
Yeah.
You're paying for an anti-clumping agent.
I
You're
make
paying for
my
the packet
taco.
and the name of the brand.
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
Every time we have tacos, I make a new batch of taco seasoning from my spices sitting up on my cupboard.
Yeah.
We don't buy it.
I saw you do that. I saw you do that. And I don't even do that because I just like, that smells good. Yep, a little bit more of this, then a little
Then
bit.
that works too. Yeah.
If you guys could see my spice cupboard, you would absolutely freak out.
Oh, Pam. Oh, it falls out on us in our house.
Wait, I've turned our airing cupboard into my spice rack because that's how much is in there. Because that's how many I've got. It's just like absolutely rammed.
With spices, you can make something that tastes okay and make it taste spectacular.
Yeah.
So
that would be my takeaway on that is absolutely go to those bulk bins and start your building of spices that way, and don't buy what you don't think you're going to use.
No.
Try something different.
I went Winco. I got to tell you, the last time I went to Winco, which was just a couple of weeks ago, whenever we do fajitas or Philly cheesesteak or something like that, we always go to Winco and get the carne asada cut meat because it's thin sliced already. I got 9 pounds for just under $30.
Wow.
Pre-sliced, already ready to go. And when I cooked it, it was like butter. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. You have to watch for those specials. You really do, because they can really, really bolster what you have in your storage.
Yeah.
So I want to answer Annette's question. It is whatever you can get for $25. If you want to
Yeah.
spend it on toiletries or hygiene or garbage bags and whatever, that's
Yeah.
your choice. Hopefully you're building up your pantry, though, is part of it. Here's another thing I want to throw out there just because of that. When you're doing I'm going to call it a rotational storage, call it whatever else you want to, inclusive of whatever you want to. Don't forget your bathroom supplies, your hygiene supplies, your
Yeah.
medicines, your Band-Aids, your batteries, your candles, your whatever else it is. If you got animals, don't forget them. If you got kids, don't forget them. If you got babies, don't forget them.
Mm.
You really have to plot and plan out when you do something like that. Oh, sexy. I like those glasses on you.
Well, hello, sir.
Sorry.
Anyways, just don't forget. I mean, because there's in this list I'm going through, you will not believe how many things I forgot because my mind just wasn't thinking about them. Or any list you go out there to look at doesn't have your toothpaste, your deodorant, your shampoos, your aspirin, your whatever else. So you get the point.
Well, the other thing as well is shop around and look for what the best deals are.
Mm-hmm.
And shop around online for the best bulk deals and get on newsletters, because the newsletters will give you free stuff. And if you save up, like I normally save, if I'm doing a bulk food order, I will save up over 3 months.
Right.
And I'll wait until the thing that I want from free comes through the newsletter, so that I then have an order that's big enough that I can order that thing and get another £14 worth of something that I wouldn't normally buy because it's expensive for free. Plus, because I'm spending over that amount, I get free delivery.
Yep.
So, I've already saved myself 30 quid without even doing anything.
Right. Right.
Because
the long run, the bulk and the saving and the mass,
it adds up
when you can do it. I'm not telling everybody to go out and do it, but when you can do it, you're going to save yourself money in the long run.
Yeah.
But it does tie into what you're saying. And I'm glad you brought it up because I did forget about it. I know that the chat talked about it a little bit earlier and I didn't catch it. When you guys go in and you go to buy something, don't go to the dollar store to buy. I'll give you an example and you'll understand what I'm saying. Don't go to the dollar store and say, okay, that bottle of white vinegar is 32 ounces. I can get it for $1.25. Woo! I walk out the door and I'm great, because I'm here to tell you you're going to screw yourself price wise.
Yeah.
It goes to what Pam's saying. You need to do your research. I can go to Walmart and get 128 ounces for $1.
See, I can go to the Asian grocery stores online and get 20 liters of white vinegar that will do us a year.
Right.
For cleaning, preserving, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And look for the offers, and I'll get it for 15 quid.
There you go.
Whereas if I have to go to the supermarket and buy it, I'll only get 5 litre bottle.
Right.
For the same price.
For the same price.
And it gets delivered to my door. I don't have to hump it back on my walker.
Go. The other thing that goes along with that, and it is with that, when you go, and it's specifically what chat was talking about, go look at what the price per ounce or per pound or per liter or per gallon or per whatever it is. Go check and compare them, because that breakdown will save you money if you're paying attention to it. Michelle, hold on, Dale.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
You want
go ahead, Michelle.
So, I've been paying a lot of attention at all of the stores where they put a package of, say, this is the time of the year where I tend to stock up on cream soups for the year. And you'll see a package of 4 for $3.98, let's say. But if you buy 6, they're 38 or 40 cents a piece. So look at that. Just because it's in a package of 4 and it looks like, oh, it's so easy to pick up and put in the basket,
Doesn't mean it's cheaper.
almost 90% of the
Right.
time,
Yep.
it's cheaper to buy it by the single. And
Yep.
I
Yeah.
always look at those ounces because
Mm.
you really can. You can pay for dead weight.
And get inventive where you're buying from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Understand where other cultures actually use the same ingredients you do. Okay. So rice flour at the supermarket at the moment to get a 500-gram bag, which is like a pound, 2-pound bag or something. Is it a pound bag? Something like that. It's £7.
$7.
Yeah.
Well, actually more here because I think it'd be like $8.50 our price.
This here is 1.5 kilos. So 3 of those bags, I got it from the Asian grocery store. It's rice flour, £1.50.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
You want rice flour, rice products, go to the Asian grocery stores. You want
Mushrooms
spices
too.
and decent sized bags of them for the same price as you're paying for those piddly little jars. Go to the Asian grocery stores because they buy them by the bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they won't pay for that. You know?
And then I want to throw one more thing in there. Don't drive around if you're going to go somewhere to save 50 cents. Don't drive 40 miles and go to 18 different stores and go to 70 lines because you're just wasting your time. And by the end of the day, you're probably so flustered you don't want to cook.
Well, you're wasting the gas too.
So
Well, it costs a lot of gas to do it, didn't it?
So I just say, okay, where am I going to get the most bang for my buck? And I'll start at the furthest store, and then I work my way back to the house. And if there's a really good deal on my way home, I'll stop in and grab it. But it can't be one thing. It's got to be a screaming deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic either behind driving 50 miles for gas to save 3 cents a gallon. You just spent 40 cents a gallon to get it.
Yeah.
So think about food the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dale,
do your research. I mean, the biggest thing is research. To me, I mean, like I spend probably, and Tony will tell you, probably 2 or 3 days a week on my computer just searching prices of stuff that are on my list.
Yeah.
You know, and I won't put in a store number. I won't put in a store search. I will search for the item. And I don't care where it pops up from. Because if that comes up at half or a third of the price of the supermarket, I'm going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because even paying for postage is going to be less than it was at the supermarket. And I probably just bought 3 or 4 times as much.
Right. I agree.
You know?
Dale, you were going to say something earlier. Do you remember what it was?
What I was,
Hi, Dal.
it was when you guys were talking about, it was when JJ and Michelle was talking about, you know, really paying attention. That is, teach yourself, teach your children to observe price by the ounce, by the pound. Learn how to figure it. I don't know how much stuff is just like Michelle was saying, you know, they make it out, oh, you could buy this 4-pack for this.
Right.
And then you look at someone else, you look at the cans, individual cans, and you can buy a half a dozen for less. I mean, that's my daughter and I, we used to make games out of that. My daughter that's now grown and has her own family and her own child, you know, that was our game. It was like we would go to the grocery store and our budget was like $100 for the family of 4 for like 2 weeks, you know? So our whole goal was, can we get out of the store with what we need and not spend the $100?
Yep.
You know, what's the lowest we can do it? And then I made it even more fun. Of course, she was like a preteen and a teenager at this point. I'm like, if we can get out of there for under 100, we'll go get coffees, you know, or we'll go get with the little extra because we didn't spend money on stuff like that. You know
Right.
what I mean?
That with the kids as well.
But-
The less we spend on groceries, the more you'll have for pocket money and sweets.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
What I did with that is now I created a monster because now her husband, he's like, we can't just go to the grocery pickup. We've got to go in. She's got to go search the prices, figure the ounces and everything else. But they live on a budget that's just amazing. And, you got these two 25-year-olds, but that's how it starts. You got to teach your children when they're younger and growing up, observing you, and don't beat them. Don't use it as the whipping post for your children.
Right.
No.
You know what I'm saying by that statement is, don't turn it into, well, we can't do that because the budget doesn't allow it all the time. Let's see how cheap we can get it, guys, or let's see how little we can pay to get this, and make a game out of it, and then it'll just naturally be absorbed that way.
Right.
My oldest got so good at it that one week he actually saved us enough money that we could hire a movie, get Domino's, and still get Munchies to sit with the movie with. I mean, yes, this was 20 years ago, but there was $20 worth of stuff that he'd saved us, doing that. And then it was like we got to have a movie night, pizza and movie night, and he was, chuffed to little mint balls for it.
So I think something else that's being said in here, and it's Rhonda, and she's got two comments, so I'll run them back to back, but it's marketing schemes you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes family size costs more than two smaller size, and that's a very valid point.
They're going to play off of your emotions right now. Everyone is scared of everything, so they're going to try to make it out like this is a really good deal, when it's actually not a good deal.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And can I do one more thing in there? I'm so sorry. I got to go back to Winco. We don't use
Winco.
We don't use a lot of milk. I don't use enough milk to justify paying, even for a quart of milk. And so I've taken to buying the powdered milk in bulk at Winco, and we keep it in a jar with a tight lid and just put off to the side. And when I'm making a cream sauce or something, and something like a noodle-roni where you just need a quarter cup and a little butter, I just mix that up and throw it in. And we probably save, over the past year, we've probably saved about $50 to $75 by not throwing milk away that we are not going to use.
Right.
So think about doing that in your pantry. And again, you can buy a teeny tiny bit, throw it in the cupboard, and then when you need more, go get it. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Dale.
Thank you to Doctor's Homestead. That's very sweet of you. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. The one thing I will say about milk powder over here, milk powder I used to have in the house all the time, and I'd buy it, have 2 kilos every month, and we'd end up going through it because we had that many kids in the house and it got used for baking and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you the container of it that I have now. Oh. Guess how much it cost me now for that? That's nearly $8.
Yeah. If you go to Target or Walmart, it's that much.
You have got to be kidding.
Thank you for the nicety. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I didn't swear, I was good girl. But yeah, but I was like, you have seriously got to be having a laugh. And I did get some from the bulk place, but it's the same kind of price. And I'm thinking,
wow.
But that just used to be a normal thing. We'd grab a couple of bags of that, and then just chuck it in to be. How? What the?
So if she says 5p, p refers to their penny. So it'd be like
penny.
5 cents.
Yeah.
If she says a fiver, that's a $5 bill. If she says a tenner, that's a $10 bill. If she says quid, that's the same as what she refers to as a
Yeah, I'll
pound
probably
or a
never
dollar.
say anything more than like a tenner because, you know, we're poor and don't have £20 notes very often.
Dale, what
Yeah.
can you get for $25?
Oh, so unlike you guys, I got late to the memo, but Tony and I did talk, and I had been to the grocery store and I was telling him about a deal that our local grocery store has, and it was 5 meat items for $20. So you could get
This is good.
a pound of bacon, you could get 3 pounds of breakfast sausage, you could get a pound of diced ham, and then they also had a 5-pack of shoulder pork steaks. All of that for $20.
That's not bad.
I mean, so you look at that in the protein side of it. I'm looking at that. So the sausage, the breakfast sausage, for instance, 3 pounds worth of it, that's 3 meals,
Right.
at our house.
Right.
You divide that in 3 halves. So you've got a breakfast. We use sausage a lot in a lot of our evening meals. And
A lot. Oh.
We use a lot. If you've watched our channel, you see that we use a lot of sausage.
Oh, wait. That's right. You're pig farmers. I forgot.
Yeah, ground pork. And then the bacon, of course, as much as this pains me to say, you can divide 1 pound of bacon and make several meals out of 1 pound of bacon. You don't have to sit down and eat a pound of it at a time,
Oh,
Not that
stop
we don't
it.
want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I plan on it,
Yeah.
but
Cooking it. Is
but like a lot of people look at this and the other thing that was there was like a whole package of Polish sausages,
Mhm.
Well, then all of a sudden you've got Polish sausages and fried cabbage. You've got Polish sausages and green beans. If you've ever fried that in a skillet together, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That you can make meals out of. And then the diced ham, a lot of people overlook this. It's a package of diced ham.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just like one of the recipes that I shared during September, you take that one package of diced ham, a few potatoes, an onion, a little bit of milk,
I'm getting hungry.
I know.
and all of a sudden you've got a ham and potato soup that will not only feed you for one meal, you can store it and have several meals out of that. So I kind of looked at it a different way. We will start taking part in this $25 pantry deal to show you what else we can get. And then that was my other big takeaway from this that I really was sharing with Tony is I'm kind of the weird guy that it's like almost two hours to go to a Costco or some kind of place like that. I've actually found it's better for us to shop at the local grocery store, kind of like what Bloo's talking about. Stay out of that big box store with the W in it. I can find way better deals at the local grocery store. Not to mention, I'm feeding my local economy that way.
All right. That's a good segue into what I can get for $25. Because I'm here to tell you I totally disagree with him. And I'll tell you.
Okay.
So here's what I got for $25. 1 pound of pasta. Didn't matter what kind it was, the same price. Two cans of tuna in oil, no water, not available.
Thai tuna salad. That's what that screams
1
to me.
pound of rice. And just to feed all those minds wondering, a bottle of hair soap.
Hey, that smells pretty good. I just smelled it at the store the other day. That's very
Okay. I actually bought it because I've never seen the scent before. It's Ocean Breeze.
Oh yeah.
See what happens to my hair when I go for smell? 2 packages of instant potatoes. 1 bottle of tomato pasta sauce. 2 cans of soup. I don't care what kind. Normal price, $1.99 a can.
God, I can't believe that.
Jeez.
And I'm not going to lift it because it's all the way on the ground. 4 pounds of flour, 4 pounds of sugar.
Yes, because we don't have 5-pound bags anymore.
We don't have 5-pound bags anymore. All of that for $25.37.
Wow.
Now, I say all of that. I'm here to tell you, and thank goodness it's nighttime, I crap myself. Not the word I wanted to use. When I got up there and I'm like, there's no way I'm even close. Because I didn't keep a budget and try to watch it. I just grabbed what I thought. However, I got to $25. Don't ask me. I was floored. The soup shocked me. The flour at the local grocery store was $3.99. The sugar was $4.59. What did I tell you, Blue? $1.99 for that bag?
Yeah.
And you can buy a 20-pound bag of like basmati rice.
Basmati rice was $7.59
for a pound, right?
for a pound. $7.59.
Buy that big old bag of it, and that pretty much lasts us for about 9 to 14 months, depending on how rice
This
is.
$2.05 each.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Wow.
But I grabbed them because I was in my mind doing the same thing that Dale was, and actually more so than what Tiffany is. And I'll get to that in a second. I was like, what can I make for a meal? You know, what can I put together for different meals? I was blown away. I don't even know why I even walked into that store, to be honest with you, but I do. Because I go there and I catch the meat when it's $3.99 a pound because I don't want to pay $6.99 a pound for the ground beef.
Hi.
I go in there because the kids need something I have to get now, and I don't want to drive the 10 miles to the local store. Whatever, you get the point. Now, I will tell you, Tiffany, and my takeaway, don't ever look back at what the prices used to be. Fix your problem now if you
You're
can.
never going to
We
go
are
back.
never going back to 99 cents a box for pasta. We're not going back to 99 cents for a bottle of cheap ass shampoo. Sorry.
You guys were talking about the dollar store, and you can get this at the dollar store for $1.25. I'm like, it's the dollar store. I used to make a joke about
It's
it.
because
Bring up and saying, how much is this?
the dollar store chain, the one we have is Dollar Tree, and it used to be $1 for everything. They rose their prices to $1.25 each.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
We've got here. We've got Poundland, but nothing's a pound anymore.
Right.
Wow.
Not unless it's overly processed crud.
2 doctors. I live in Eastern Washington, is where I live. Now, the flip side to that is, and this will tie into this list I'm putting together. The flip side to that is that there is a Walmart list I'll put together, and then there is a $1.25 list I'll put together. But I'm here to tell you, just because it's $1.25 doesn't mean it's a better deal.
No.
Right.
I just want people to get that in their heads. Yes, it's $1.25. Yes, I probably could have got double of the amount of things I got, but they never would have gotten me to where I ended up for the quantity, I think is the word I want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
good deal. Prepping for Heaven, their local market has a Saturday special. 3 pounds of hamburger at $3.99 a pound.
Yeah, I wish I lived closer
And
to
who would
that.
have
Big
thought
home.
that would have
Sheesh.
been a screaming deal? Because I would be all over that.
I would too.
The
And
meat prices
probably
over here aren't worth it. This
Yeah.
is not worth buying the meat over here because you just can't afford it. I
Right.
mean, like you show me with your hands how big you expect a lamb shoulder to be.
I don't know enough about lamb to tell you that. I can't answer that question.
Yeah, so
I
lamb
would
shoulder should be
assume.
something like this.
Close,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were selling them at the supermarket this size. They'd cut one into 4 pieces and were selling each piece for a tenner and calling it a special deal.
Lord.
I was horrified, absolutely horrified.
So I want to throw this in because I had mentioned it earlier and I don't want to forget. Tiffany, and I'm not going to go into detail. I want her to tell us when she can come back and join us without issue. But she did it different. She went, how many meals can I get out of $25?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a different approach to
Yeah.
look at it differently. I like the way Dale did. I like the way all of us did it because it was a different perspective, one way or another.
I think what people don't know for over here as well is that 20 quid for people over here is all they can afford to feed themselves for a week.
And
if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
If they're lucky. Okay. If you have 2 working people at the moment in a household, you can probably live quite comfortably. But right now, people are struggling, even working on frontline jobs like nurses and firemen and police. They're all going to the food banks because they can't afford 20 quid a week to feed their families.
Right.
Okay, so I might have a lot of stuff here, but there is a lot of people that can't afford to even get this.
Now, in all honesty, I want to go back to you just for a minute. I was floored at the number of items you were able to get because
that's because
I
I'm
knew,
canny, I'm cheap, and I shove old ladies out the way to get things.
I get that. Walk on, sister. Don't stop what you're doing, please. But I knew what was in this bag, and I was like, "There's no way how I'm gonna even come close to her. Ain't no way."
Yeah.
Because the number you had was just shocking to me.
Yeah.
But see, for us,
like
this
you
is
said,
shocking because it's like there's no fresh. There's
Yeah,
no
no,
meat
no.
in this lot. This is just pantry staples for us.
Yeah.
But this will also last us probably 3 months.
see, and that's the trade-off. You guys have gotten to a point where you're able to do that, where we're not used to that yet.
Yeah, well, see, the rice alone, that's 6 months worth of rice for us because we only use what we do is we use the cheap stuff to bulk out the expensive stuff.
Yes, makes sense.
Yes.
Right. So if I'm doing rice, I'll put 2 cups of rice, half a cup of quinoa, half a cup of freekeh or wheat buds or something, and just mix it up so it's got.
You eat wheat bugs?
Can I get back in your box about now? Don't mess with me. I haven't had coffee.
Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
But I get, so we bulk that out, and that will give us a week's worth of mixed grains that have got a lot more nutritional value, but we haven't had to, drop 3 or 4 cups of each of the expensive stuff. It's just a bit of this and a bit of that and stuff that bulks out the nutritional value and then is filled in with like the plain white rice. So it makes it cheaper. So I
think that's a valid. Sorry. Go ahead.
So if I get things like expensive pasta, like that's made by artisans and stuff, like this stuff, I will make a really cheap sauce to go with it. Because it's the pasta that'll carry the recipe. Whereas if I've got cheap pasta, I'll use more expensive ingredients
sauce
because it'll make it go further. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it kind of balances it out a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a good takeaway, and it's a good ending point for the conversation tonight. We're at more than 2 hours. But I think it's a very valid point. If you can bulk your food out or heat your food out, if that makes any sense, to make it go further, do it, because you're only saving yourself money in the long run.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like we talked about in the beginning, and I'm looking at Michelle because our eyes connected when we said it, or when I said it, like Annette did, the 4 breasts, cutting them in half, that gives you 4 meals. Make that stuff stretch as far as you can, but don't starve anybody either, because there's not a need for that right now, because we can fill in with pastas. And we're not here having the what's healthy and what's not healthy conversation. That's talking
not
about
a conversation that needs to happen.
No, we're talking about feeding our families. That's what we're talking about. So,
yeah.
Okay. Any last words from each of you that you would like to throw in?
I just seen Lori prepping for heaven. Just check the flyer, and they have whole pork loins on sale for $1.99 a pound.
Wow.
Talking about her local store. I'm telling you this, so overlooked. One of our local
Minusing Tony's. I get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of our local stores, they actually had to get rid of whole pork loin because people didn't buy it, because they can't wrap their head around the fact that if I take that pork loin home and I slice it, I now have boneless pork chops that they're paying a premium price.
Schnitzel.
Oh, I didn't even think about schnitzel. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my God, we cut it into 5, pound it out when we're ready after we've thawed it. 1 pork loin will last us for a year, and we get 5-10 meals out of it.
Or you can spiral cut it out to make a big square and stuff the hell out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roll it
so you
like
got a massive spiral.
Are you massaging us now, Dale?
Take that pork loin and spiral splice it around to make a big sheet. Then stuff that, or layer on top of that cream cheese, some kind of pepper, green bell, a jalapeno. Roll that back up, a little bit of butcher string, bake that or put it on your smoker. And if you put it on top of your head, your tongue would beat you to death to try to get it. It's amazing.
See, I would use an apple and walnut stuffing and probably add some sausage meat to it. Like, to make it sort of not as bready, but, and then just roll that up. Because that would be pretty amazing too, I reckon.
Yep.
And just roast it.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, guys.
So go get a snack now.
we will have a conversation afterwards, but it sounds like we will be on board for Sunday. It sounds like so.
Okie
dokie. Just I'll get that information out tomorrow. We'll have a talk afterwards. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody that modded tonight. I can't even think of what I want to say. Tiffany and Ginger will return, and when they do, they will have their turn. Thank you for trying. I appreciate it. Thank you to you guys for showing up. I really thank you guys. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy it?
I think it's amazing, and I think anyone can glean so much good information out of this.
Okay.
I think we need to share, all of us need to share it with our friends too, because we're not the only, this is the topic of conversation no matter who you talk to anymore, whether you're next to someone in line at the grocery store or talking to your coworkers or your neighbors. This is what we're all talking about.
Yep.
You are correct. All right, guys. We will be here for sure next Friday. Tuesday night, we have our finale game night. That'll be going on. And then, like I said, we're going to shoot for this Sunday, trying to continue the conversation. So thank you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
Night, everybody.
Night.
See you later, everybody.